morning, students. Good morning, all of you. I hope you all are doing well and following the COVID precaution. So today let's start with the next chapter. And what are the topics which we're going to cover in these chapters are the introduction about this chapter, that is what is acid and base. We will talk about what are indicators and what is neutralization. We'll talk about salts and examples from daily life. So first we want to see that why at all we want to learn about acid, bases and salt, and what are they? What are acids, what are bases, and how do they play a role in our day-to-day life? So whenever something thing play an important role in our life, then we want to know about them. So let's first see where do we find acids and bases. Now acids and bases, even though the name looks little uncommon or maybe new to you at this level, but they actually are very common solution which exist everywhere. A lot of liquid that we use and then we counter on day-to-day basis, they are either acidic or basic in nature. So they basically some acid or basic. So let us look at some of such things which we come across very quickly that we never knew that they contain some acid or they contain some base. So one such thing is the lemonade, or a citrus fruit. Oranges, lime, they are all citrus fruit. Do you know why? Because they contain an acid. They contain an acid that is called citric acid, and due to the preference of citric acid, they have given the name citrus fruit. You think of something like vinegar. So do you think what exactly vinegar is? It is a watery liquid. It is often used for purposes like making Chinese dishes. Vinegar is like most commonly used. So vinegar again is an acid, that is an acetic acid. So this is also an acidic in nature. You think of the soft drink, Coke, Pepsi, Fanta, Coca-Cola. So what are these? So these are soft drinks also contain acid. They are carbonic acid. So they are also acidic in nature. Think of something like the soda, baking soda, which is often used for preparing things like baking. Like while baking a cake, you put some baking soda into a flour. So it is also used for making a lot of things, not only baking soda, in fact the washing soda, which is used for washing clothes. So they all are acidic in nature. Instead they contain a medicine. Now medicine, they call some medicine like have you ever felt stomach ache because of when you eat a junk food or an oily substance, and that is not some hygienic food, you sometimes get stomach problem, okay? So or a digestion problem, that the food doesn't digest it properly, and therefore you feel discomfort in the stomach. So what do you do then? So you say that I am feeling very acidity inside my stomach. So how do you remove that acidity? With the help of antacid tablet. So these antacid tablet, they are again an antacid. That means they are not acid. So what are they? They are base. So they contain a base in them. Again, it is not necessary that all object that we see around us is either acidic or basic in nature. So there are certain substances, for example, the sugar, which is neither acidic nor basic in nature. So they are basically neutral. In fact, there are some other substances like salt. You take an example of water. Water sometimes behave like an acid, sometimes it behave like base, but we do not conclude water under the category of either acidic or base. Even the soap which we use, so all these soap, they contain base, so they are also basic in nature. So bleaches, they all are basic in nature. So you see, all these things are very commonly used by us in daily life, and they contain either acid or base, or they are neutral. So let us now see what are acid. Now the word acid is derived from a Latin word called sour. Now acids are those substances which are sour in taste. Well, if I say like this, then it is true for some extent, because acids are sour in taste. So let's take an example which we have already taken, like lemon and oranges. We all know that, we all have tasted it, and we all know that they are sour in taste, and they are acidic because they contain an acid called citric acid. Let's take another example, vinegar. So we all tasted the vinegar, if not then raw vinegar, then at least tasted some food items like chow mein or Manchurian. So these kind of food item, they use vinegar. So vinegar is again sour in taste, and vinegar contains an acid called acetic acid. Let's take another example. Let's take one very common example, our body. So what is it made up of? The body is made up of a lot of proteins, right? And what are proteins made up of? Protein is again made up of amino acids. So what is it? It is an acid again. So proteins are also made up of an acid. So you see, proteins, they plays in such an important role. They help us in the construction of our body. They also made up of some acids. So these proteins, they also contain the amino acids. Think of the process of digestion. So in one of our previous lesson, we spoke about the process of digestion. How do the food that we eat get broken down into a simpler form and absorbed by our body to give energy. So during this process of digestion, do you remember what happened in the stomach? The stomach contained hydrochloric acid, HCl, and this hydrochloric acid plays a very important role in the stomach, because due to this acidic medium, the enzymes, that pepsin, become active, and pepsin help in the digestion of protein in the stomach. So acid play a very important role in the stomach. So here also you see acids are there. So inside our body we see so many acids present here and there. Now when this concept of when this HCl is increase in the stomach, then that is how we suffer with acidity. Okay. So take example of spinach. Spinach also contains an acid called oxalic acid. You take an example of curd, which is consumed by us very frequently, and curd is actually prepared from milk. So this curd is also contain an acid called lactic acid. So all these common factors contain so much acid that it is really important to know what type of acids. Now I would not say that the correct way of defining acid is by its taste, because it is not possible to taste all the things which contain acid, because some may be extremely harmful being consumed, so we do not consume it. But if the only way we have defining acid is by their taste, then we will not be able to find out a lot of acids. So this is basically one characteristic of acid, that they are sour in taste. But yes, there are some other properties of acid which we are going to discuss now, by which we can actually distinguish between acid and which is a base. So let's see what are bases. So these are the substances which are mostly bitter in taste. So let's look at some example. Now, not only the bitter, they are also contain soapy in touch. So they are also soapy in touch. So you would have understood some of the example, like soap is soapy in touch, and when you put soap on your palms, what happens? It is like kind of slippery. It is slimy. So that kind of a touch is referred to when we say soapy in touch. So some other examples are bleach, the washing soda or baking soda. They are also bases. So if you have ever got a chance to taste the baking soda, because I will not advise to taste a soap or a bleach, of course do not do that. But when we talk about how to distinguish between which is a base and which is an acid, there is absolutely no need to taste any of the substance. Just now I gave you the example that when the concentration of hydrochloric acid in the stomach increases, that causes acidity, and when you have acidity you feel pain in the stomach, you feel uneasiness, discomfort, and how do you get rid of that? With the help of an antacid tablet. So this antacid tablet, they are actually basic in nature. So when these tablets are consumed, they reach out the stomach and they reduces the acidity. So antacids are bases, and bases and acids, they are like just opposites. So they neutralize the effect of each other. So bases will neutralize and it will bring down the acidity of the stomach, and that is how you feel better after taking the antacids tablets. Now these bases in the initial stage, they are also known as alkaline. So as acids are alkaline, alkaline is basically a Arabic word which means ashes of the salt vault. It is a plant which is mostly grows in the salt marshes. So ashes of that plant was referred to as an alkaline. That was the earlier name of bases, but later it was more commonly called as base. So now the question is it necessary that all the substances have to be either acid or basic? Can there be substances which are neither acidic or nor basic? Yes, of course there can be. So these kind of substances which are neither basic nor acidic. So those substances which are neither basic and nor acidic in nature, they are said to be neutral. So it is like they are neither positive nor negative, they are neutral. So they are like common examples are sugar, salt, water. So these are some example of neutral substances. So now in this lesson we are going to focus mostly on acids and bases, and we will see how can we distinguish between acid and base, and how can we determine a particular substance is acid or a base. So that's the question which is running in everybody's mind, that how do we distinguish between acidic and basic substances. Now tasting the substance is not the right option, because we will never know that, let's say some unknown substance, some new substance, we are not very sure about the composition of that substance, we are not very sure how will consuming that substance impact our body, but we want to know whether that substance is acidic or basic in nature. So if you think that tasting the substance is an option, that can be very risky as well, because maybe that substance is extremely poisonous for your body, so it causes you harm. So therefore it is always not advised to taste any unknown substance, because you do not know the composition of that substance. So the substance might contain a lot of harmful things which might spoil your body. So now we are going to find out other ways, alternatives, which will help us to distinguish between acidic and basic substances. And that is where we talk about indicators. So what are indicators? So these are the substances which indicate whether a substance is acidic or basic in nature. So actually these are nothing but these are normal substances, but these when react with acid and bases in different way. So looking at the way they react with a particular substance, we can actually say which one is an acid and which one is a base. So that is the simple logic behind the working of indicators. Now how do these indicators show us the change, how they behave when they come in contact with an acidic substance or a basic substance? Now basically these indicators, they change their color when added to a specific substance, whether it is an acidic or a basic. Now the color to which they change, so that color indicate the nature of the substance. Now some of the natural occurring indicators which already exist in nature, but they have they have a special property, so that's why they act as a indicator. So such example is a China rose, which is also known as hibiscus or a gudal. So this China rose is act as an excellent indicator. Again turmeric, which you will often find in your kitchen because it is used for cooking a lot of stuffs. The litmus is a kind of dye which is obtained from the lichens. You remember lichens we discussed in our previous lesson. So lichen is mostly seen on the bark of trees, and it is an association, symbiotic association between algae and fungi. So from those lichen, this dye is obtained, and this dye is called litmus. And from there we obtain litmus paper, and it shows the changes in the color when it comes in contact with acidic or basic. Okay, so these are some naturally indicators, and other than these there are some many chemical compounds which act as an indicator. So one such example is the phenolphthalein. So this is a colorless chemical compound which can act as an indicator. Now, which is that property which has to be present in a substance so that it can behave like an indicator? So the only property which we are looking for is the substance should be able to change its color when it comes to in contact with an acidic or basic substance, and the change in color for an acidic substance should be different than the change in color in the case of basic substance. For example, if when it comes in contact with an acid, that substance become red in color, in that case when it come in contact with the base, it should change into some other color other than red. So only then we will able to understand that the substance are acidic or basic in nature. So that is the only property which we are looking at when we find the indicators. So now we are going to talk about litmus in detail. So what is litmus? How do we obtain litmus paper, and how do we conduct the litmus test? So first let's understand what is litmus. It is nothing but a natural dye. So it is a mixture of naturally occurring dyes which are obtained from lichen. So lichen, I told you, symbiotic relation between algae and fungi, and it found in the bark of trees. Now modernly, if you talk about how the litmus looks like, so this litmus is like a powder, and how you have dye, dyes are obtained in many different colors. So this litmus is also obtained in many different colors. Like mostly uses red litmus, and it is a powdery thing which is highly soluble in water. So it mixes up with water very fast and very nicely. So that's how you get you obtain a litmus indicator solution. So when you mix this powder with water, then what you get? The litmus indicator solution. What you get is litmus indicator solution. Now this litmus indicator solution, it has a special property that this solution turns red in acidic solution and it turns blue in basic solution. So that means if you mix this litmus indicator solution, so a litmus indicator solution is nothing but this powder which mixed with water, so that is litmus indicator solution. That solution will act as an indicator. So when you put some other solution which is under rest, we want to know that what is that solution. Let's say you have another solution which is under test. So you want to know what the test is. It is acidic or basic. So what do? We put few drop of this solution into the litmus solution. Now if the litmus solution turns red, that means the solution under test was acidic in nature, and if it turns blue, that means the solution is under test was basic in nature. So this is the property of litmus indicator solution, that it turns red in acidic solution and it turns blue in basic solution. In fact, because of this property of litmus indicator solution, it is used as an indicator. So if you put it into a neutral solution, what will happen? It will neither get red, it will not blue, it will change into light purple color, which is also called mauve. So it will become mauve in neutral solution or in a distilled water. Okay. So why do you think litmus is used as an indicator? Because of this different color, because it reacts differently with acid and base. With acid it gives red color, with base it gives blue color, and that is what we were looking at. So it turns red in acidic solution, turns blue in basic solution. So two different colors with two type of solution would enough for us to distinguish which one is acidic and which one is basic. So therefore litmus is used as, it is in fact very commonly used indicator. Now to make this process of testing acid and base more convenient, instead of using the litmus solution, litmus papers are more commonly used because in a paper you are it is more easy to handle, and the test also become more simpler and more convenient. So how do we obtain this litmus paper? Because till now we only talking about the litmus solution. Now once we have prepared the solution, all we need is a few filter papers. So I hope you all of you know the filter papers. So these are like the papers with fine pores. So when you prepare tea, what do you do? After preparing tea, you pass it through the sieve. Why do you need that sieve? Because it can filter out the tea leaves from all the tea leaves. So in the similar way, this filter paper, they have a tiny pores, and when any solution is passed through it, it is just allow liquid to pass through it, and it will hold back all the solid particle, and that is the filter paper. So you take some filter paper and you put litmus solution into the filter paper. So filter paper will completely absorb the litmus paper solution, and when it dry perfectly. So the paper will take the color of the solution when it is dry. So basically it absorb the solution. So as I told you, so the most common indicator are red and blue litmus paper. So they are cut into thin strips, as you can see here, and then it become very convenient to use as an indicator. So it is one of the most common indicator which is used to test the acidity of a substance. Now the way I was telling that the litmus indicator solution changes its color, similarly these litmus paper, when you put them inside a solution, so if the solution is acidic, it turns red. If the solution is basic, it turns blue. In fact, that is the reason why we have two different colors of litmus paper, red and blue. Because if we only have red litmus paper, in that case it will become difficult to decide which one is acidic. Because when red litmus paper is put in the acidic solution, it remains red, correct? But if the same red litmus paper is put inside a neutral solution, then also it remains red. So the decision might become little difficult. So that is why both the color are available, red and blue, and using both and we can find whether a substance is acidic or basic in nature. We use both of them. Now how this litmus test we have to perform, which this we will discuss in the next part, in the next Zoom meeting, because I hope this would be enough for you. And if you have any confusion in this, you can ask me, because this is a very important chapter. It will help you in your higher studies as well. So please go through the chapter, student. Be serious for your studies and watch the videos regularly. Complete your worksheet also time to time, because in a couple of days we will call you to submit your notebook for checking. Okay, so be safe, follow the COVID guidelines as well, and watch the videos carefully, properly, sincerely, and daily as well. Okay, and we will discuss about the litmus test, how we will perform the litmus test in the next video. Thank you.